On that forecast, rain hanging around.
Yeah, Tim, it's pretty gloomy outside right now. When can we expect it all to clear out?
Not for a while, guys. Not until probably the second half of the weekend, or at least the second half of the day on Saturday. A live look outside here from our Skyview camera over downtown Norfolk right now. Cloudy skies. We had a few showers, heavier downpours work through in the last hour. A lot of those have pushed off towards the east now, but we can see more periods of rain today. It's cooler out there, and it'll also be breezy, especially if you're joining us from along the coastline. Winds out of the east off the water, a little bit stronger this afternoon. And then we're looking towards the potential for some strong to maybe even severe thunderstorms, especially the farther south and west you are later on this afternoon and evening and overnight. And then we're looking at that wet forecast right in the day on Sunday. Let's start with that storm threat. Latest update here from the Storm Prediction Center. The area in the yellow, again, the farther south and west you get, is that Tier 2 slight risk for strong storms. The main threat is some gusty winds. I think that time frame, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The reason why it's farther to the south and west, you get closer to a stalled out front that's still hanging out through North Carolina and just to the southwest of much of Hampton Roads this morning, which is why these waves of energy are passing right along to the north. Here's a look at live radar now. A lot of the rain is pushed off to the east for some of us. As you get off towards the eastern shore, it's been raining buckets. They've been dealt the brunt of a lot of this heavier rain so far today, and this is round number 2 for them. Coming down in buckets through Exmoor and up towards Chincoteague and down towards Cape Charles, another heavier batch heading over the bay towards you. And up to the peninsula, right through Williamsburg right now, bursts of some heavier rain. This is a small batch and moving very quickly off to the east and southeast, tracking right along I-64 over to the HRBT eventually in Newport News. You go on the south side, we had a heavier batch move through Virginia Beach earlier, has now pushed offshore and down in northeast North Carolina. Much lighter, more widespread rain, though, for you right now. So this is batch number 2 for the day so far. We had our first batch move through earlier this morning and is zipped offshore, but there'll be more that develops off to the north and west and slides along that front off to the south and southeast as it still hangs out, not really budging very far over the last couple of days. And with high pressure sitting off New England, it's pulling in our winds out of the east, a little bit blustery along the coastline. That front also the boundary between the very, very warm air well off to the south and southwest in the upper 80s through Charleston. Savannah, Georgia, going to be in the mid to upper 90s this afternoon, a far cry from our 62 that we're sitting at currently in Norfolk. 60 in Surrey over to Smithfield, 61 in Chesapeake, slightly warmer southwest closer to the front, 66 Conway, 65 Gatesville, but Edenton sitting at 70 so far. So here's how it all pans out on Futurecast. That batch of rain we're seeing right now zips off to the south and east, a little bit of a break, but then another round works on in here by the time we get towards the evening commute and overnight tonight. And this is the area that we're going to be watching for the potential for a few stronger storms that work on through here during that time frame. So how much rain we talking about between now and say Saturday around lunchtime when things start to be winding down? 1, 2, maybe even 2.5 inches of rain between now and then. So a good 48 hours before things finally start to clear out. So 66 this afternoon, rounds of showers, some strong storms thrown in the mix there farther south and west you go. Coastal locations a little bit gusty as well, up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. And here's your weekend breakdown. 73 on Saturday. I think the rain mainly isolated to the morning hours, tapering off into the early afternoon, maybe even a little bit of some clearing working in here by later in the day. But Sunday, the pick of the weekend for Mom's Day, mostly sunny and beautiful with temperatures shooting back up into the mid to upper 70s. And we continue that trend in through much of next week, at least through Wednesday, that is. Temperatures right up into the low to even middle 80s with lots of sunshine on the way and a nice long period of dry weather just to get there. Have about 48 hours of wetness to get through.
Okay.
You had to up the chances of the wet weather for the next couple of days, but at least Mother's Day remains the same.
Mother's Day looks good.
Fantastic. And then after Mother's Day, not bad.
Straight shot of 80s.
Love
not
it.
bad at all.
All right.
Good
Thanks,
job,
Tim.
All right, let's go to the number.